Okay, cohorts. I hope y'all were able to do part one of my challenge, and that was to take the code that you wrote in challenge one, put them into their own little method, which is what we've been doing all along in our exercises, creating a menu, and then writing some code to process that menu. And if you look at this, does this not look a lot cleaner than all those if statements we were doing prior? So I'm going to throw you another monkey in the wrench here. I'm going to introduce something new. So let me go grab it. Because we got to, as Yami would say, suppress our limits. Push on here now. We got to go forward. You got to test those boundaries. And that's what I'm wanting to do is push your boundaries. I want you to use that noodle you got up there. All right. And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I made this video. This is the second time I'm trying to make this video. I had an error in my code earlier, and for the life of me, I couldn't see it, and it was like staring me right in the face. I went and took a little 30-minute nap, and now I'm fresh as a whistle and good to go. So we're gonna paste some code in here, and oh my word, what the heck is he pasting in here? Well, let me go over this now. Public static final. All you need to know what this means is this string, we know what strings are, cannot be changed. You've locked this in. When you put the final on here and stuff, you're saying this is kaput. It's not, you can never change this value in your code. This is the only place you can change it. And so as you can see here, I got a bunch of colors. So you can probably imagine what I want to do now. So let's come down here and let's add another little method, another little block of code so we can put some code in it. So we're just going to do the old public static void. And again, this is a black box. So far as why this works, what it does, we're going to do one. And this time we're going to add the word color to it. Put our parentheses, and then we're going to do our block. Now let's go up to number one, and let's grab out our code. Let's just copy it. I'm just going to copy. We don't need the end part because that's part of the method right there, not the part of the for loop. So I'm going to close it back up, roll it back up so it keeps our code nice and clean. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to paste it. Now, let's go down here to our menu, and let's add it to our menu so we can run it. So we're just going to call this one, how about 20? Okay. If y'all did all the patterns that I prescribed or I made for you last time, you'd have the 4 that I made plus 10 more. So we're going to call this color 1, color, ooh, color. Now, let's go down here and let's add another of our cases so that we can actually run this. Now, do you think we're going to do case 5, case 6? What number did we tell the user to put to run this pattern? We told them to put 20. So we're going to come down here to our case, and we're going to do 20. And now this time we're going to run color 1, and then we're going to do a break. So we now, if we come down here, or go up here, I guess, and we run our little code. Well, I guess I left it running from last time again. And we have 20 there. So let's put 20 in, and what do we get? We get our 3 little stars. 2 on top, 1 on bottom. It's kind of a little triangle there. And that's what we wanted. Now, we're going to do this. And maybe what we should do, I'm just thinking out loud here, people. Down here where we have, at the end of our loop, we have this menu. We call this, and then we do that. How about at the end of our while loop, the while loop right here at the end, after we've done everything we need to do, because this is inside of our switch there, so we're still inside the loop. What if we just made a new little prompt? We just did S out, and we say enter next menu item, like that. And then, so let's run this again. And the reason I'm doing this is, if you noticed a while ago, here, let's look at the code window here. You noticed we printed out our pattern, and then it's just sitting there, and nobody knows what to do. Okay, so I want to see if this will help alleviate that dead space there, that when you run something, it'll remind the user of what we're doing here. So let's put 20. There we go. Now it says enter next menu item. So we could do 2, and we get enter next menu item. See, that looks a lot cleaner, and now we know what we can do. We hit 0, and we do that. So we stopped our program. Now let's go up here and look at this code. We copied this code in. Let me close this window out, and let me drag this up a little bit so we get a little more visual of our coding. Let me just okay. Everything looks pretty good. So so we want to introduce colors. So we have a whole slew of colors here. For the first exercise, I just want to change one of the stars in our little 3 pattern to red. So we set this up last time like this, and it works good. But if you remember in my last video of the challenge 1, we had done something a little different. We put a Boolean print equal false, and then we told it print, and then we come down here and we actually did a print. I like this little layout down here. I like how this is functioning. Remember, guys, there's no right or wrong answers, and you can accomplish this in multiple ways. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste that in. And of course, I'm going to get an error for the print. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do a Boolean print, and I'm going to set him equal to false. I'm going to make a second Boolean, and I'm going to call this one print red. And I'm going to set it equal to false as well. Now, some of you guys are going to ask eventually why I do my variables like this. This goes back for the 70s when I first learned C. This is how we did it, and I'm just used to doing it this way. You don't have to do it this way. I just think it makes it a lot more clearer to read the variables. It's just my own little take here. So now we have this. So we could go in here, we could remove this, and we could put print equals true, and then we could come down here and put print equals true. No, print equals true. And I want to run that again before we make any color changes, because we did change our logic here. We're now using this Boolean to test out for stuff. So let's go down here and run our little menu again. And let's put 20 in. Did we break it? Well, we did break it somehow. Look at this. Now the star is in the wrong position. It's there instead of there. So we need to figure out why we did it. Well, I see what happened here, and I'm not sure why it worked in the other one, but we need to make that 0. We're supposed to be testing for 0. So let's run it again. Oh, it's still waiting this over here. Now the question is, if I hit 21 or 20 again, will we get the old results? Yep, because it's still in memory. We haven't cleared the memory and started over yet. So we're going to do this. Now we can come down here. Let's do 20. Now we got our star in the right position. Okay, and I want to do, I'm just curious, if we do 1 prints it out correctly too. So the difference in the code is this little print section down here, how this works. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go up here and we added this print red. So we're going to come down here where this alt F is in our print statement. And we're going to say if print red, and then we're going to come down here and we want to, well, actually, let's do this. Let's come down here and let's do it else. Because the way we have this now written is, if it doesn't change it a color, or if it doesn't print it, we're printing a space. So now what we need to do is we need to take this, copy this, and we're going to come down here and we are going to make this red. So the way we do this is we're going to do red, and how do we concatenate? A plus sign. And then after this we're going to also do a reset, so it resets it back. Now this logic now that we have set up is if so if print is not true, then it falls down to this if. If red is not true, then it's going to print a space. But if red is true, it's going to print out a red asterisk. But we don't have any logic for that up here. And so what we're going to do is right now, you notice there's no columns in our declaration or in our comparison up here, because if you look down here, both in our line are going to be true. So we didn't have to do that. But this time what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to say and column equal to 0. If it's equal to 0, we want to make it red. All right. But now we don't have any logic for the black one. So let's do row. It's still the same row, but this time we're going to do the column equals 1, and we want to just do, oops, I forgot to do my little brackets there at the end. And so what we're going to do here is just the regular print is equal to true. And I think I found a bug already. Oh, we did not do this. When we come up here and we made print and then we did this, then we also made print equal false. So we need to come down here and do this and do print red equal false also. Now let's run the code. What do you think is going to happen? Can you figure it out before we actually run the code? No, I'll let you run it again. So now we have 20, and look what we got. We got one red star, one white star, one white star. Perfect. That was the pattern that we want. Okay. Now I am not going to give you a sheet or a PDF of all the patterns with different colors. I want you guys to figure out what color you want to use and then change it. Now, I just showed you one method of how we could change colors. Okay, now I'm going to roll this up and let's go look at our pattern sheet. Do I still have the pattern sheet up? I do. Now, I think I'm going to do this one right here. I'm going to do the third one. I'll let you guys figure out on this one here, on the second one, how you, and all the rest of the patterns, make half of them colored, or make some of them colored. And you got lots of colors to choose from. So, but I'm going to do this one. I want to show you, I've got another idea of how we might be able to represent our data and figure this out. All right, so let's go back to our code. And so let's, where are we at here? Let's roll this up, roll this one up. I like to roll things up. And we got our color 2 here, but I said I'm going to do the third one. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to do static void, and I'm going to call this one pattern 3 color. And again, we're just making a block of code like we've been running all along of our exercises. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab the code out of number 3. And I'm just going to grab all that code there. Come up here, copy it. I'm going to roll that back up so I don't have to look at it. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to paste it in here. Boom. So we now have our code for pattern 3. So I'm going to come down here to the menu item and I'm going to leave a space so I can come back and do the other pattern. And what we're going to say is we'll do 22. Okay. Because 21 would be for pattern 2. This is going to be pattern 2, no, pattern 3 color. Okay, so we got that in our display. Now let's go down here to our switch that we're using to actually call those. And so we're just going to put 22, and then we're going to call 3 color. There it is right there. And then we're going to break. And so let's go run it, and let's go see. Did we leave it running? No, we actually turned it off this last time. Good for us. So let's do 22. And there we go. Excuse me. Gotta get something to drink here. Now, if we call 3, it'll print the same thing because I copied the code. So we can do a 0 to exit. Now let's go up here to our color. Let's go up here to our thing here. So I want, and let's go up and look. Let's visit what we did in number 1. Number 1, we have 2 booleans, and then we come down to here and we changed our code to pick which one according to the rows and columns, which color we want. Then we have down here, we have this if, else, if, going down here, and that would get really big really fast. And that is a correct way of doing it. But I think I want to do something just a little bit different. How about we use another switch? We're already using a switch in our main down here to display our menu. I'm going to roll him up real fast. So we're already using a switch here. So I think a switch would work really good here. And let's call it color. Okay. And so, well, we better define him. So let's come up here and we're going to do another integer. And we're just going to call it color. And I'm going to do it -1. The reason I'm doing a -1 is I haven't started my loop yet. Actually, we'll do 0. We'll just do, well, actually we'll do -1 because if we look back up here, I had put placeholders or numbers against the colors. Now, I'm not going to do black, but I will put it in there. There is a way to change your background color, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're eating an elephant. Remember how you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. And so I'm giving y'all little nibbles here. We've already covered almost everything. 99% of everything we're doing here, we've covered in class. These are just reiterate what we've already learned. We learned for loops, we know if statements, we know how to set up booleans, and we know how to do test. We're going to do another switch right here. No, right here, in the third one right here. So we started a switch. So we're going to do our colors. So we're going to say case, if I can spell, case 1, and you put a colon. Well, what we're going to do? Well, we want to print out. We want to do our S out, and we make sure that we only print that. Now, we're going to print a color. So there's black plus our asterisks. And you could do black. I don't think you see very much. Black on black just wouldn't work very good. And now we're going to do our reset. So we reset back to the default color, and then we're going to break. Just like we've been doing with our menu system. So we're going to do case 2, and we're going to do, what we'll do is, let's just copy this. I'm a firm believer in copy and paste. Okay, so we're going to copy that. And, you know, let's undo this. If we were wise, we would have just copied both these statements. So let's copy that, come down here, and we're going to paste that here. And then we're going to come over here. Why does it not like that? Did I not copy something? Oh, duplicate branch of switch is what it's telling me. Woo. So we're going to come down here is we're going to put red here. All right. Now we're going to come down here and we're going to do 3. And what color was 3 up here? Color was 3. 3 was green. So now we're going to come down here. We're going to use a switch. And we'll just go ahead and keep pasting. And then we'll just change this one little piece of code here so we don't have to retype it. And as soon as we hit the G, if you hit the tab key, it'll automatically place that in there. So easy peasy, right? Now we're going to do 4. We're going to paste that in there. Let's go up here. What's color's 4? You know what? Let's roll this one up here. So we don't have to scroll up so far. And we're working on 3 colors, so that one will leave out and open. So yellow, then blue. So we'll make this one yellow. As soon as we put the Y, you see it. So we're going to come down below here, do our case 5, paste them, and we know it's blue. We can at least remember that far, right? BL, go down to blue. And then we got another case. That's going to be 6. We'll paste that, and let's go up and see what 6 is. 6 is purple. Alright, so, oops, I forgot to change this to purple. Alright, now we're going to do case 7. And so case 7 was cyan. And then we have one more, case 8. Whoa, I forgot to put something here, didn't I? I'm breaking everything here. So we'll do case 8. And so we'll come down here and we'll just tab these over so they line up correctly. And this one was white, which is going to be our default color. And so we made that white. Okay. So now let's do one other thing here. This prints all of our asterisks in whatever color our little heart wants. So let's go down below here and let's do the default. And what we're going to do for default is we are going to print our space, because think about it, when we did our logic earlier up here in number 4, if we unroll that down a bit, we come to the bottom down here, and what did we do? We did else. If it wasn't a print, then we just did a space. And that meant we didn't have to worry about logic for spaces now, and we're only doing logic for the prints. So we can do the same thing with the colors and everything. We can do that. If we're not printing a color or not printing an asterisk here, then we can get rid of everything. So let's go up here and let's just see okay. Let's see. Let's try and let's change this, and we're just going to put color equals 8, because that's white. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna, I want to put color equals 8, because that's our default color. Now we got a space right here, so let's try this. Let's take this and let's just comment it out. And over here, we're going to do color. Oh my word, what did I type in? I missed color. I think it needs to be lowercase. That was the problem. The color is going to equal 8. Okay. Oh, see, it's giving me an error up here because I tried to do a color function and not the color variable that I set up. And so then we have this space right here. So let's take and let's just comment that out. Because what we're doing here is, if we're not printing a color, then we are printing a space. So I don't know, did I do this right? Again, guys, you got to test. You got to run your code. Don't be scared to run your code. What's the worst thing that can happen? So we're going to do 22. Oh my word, we got no spaces this time. Everything was, oh my word, what did we do? So we got no spaces. So that means that everything was equal. Oh, I know what we didn't do. If you remember, what we need to do is we need to come down here and reset our color is equal to 0. Now let's run it again. And then I'll go over why we needed the color to 0. So we're going to do 22. And we got our pattern again. And so let's hit 0. Let me show you what happened here. Because the first time, the very first color came up here to 8, we ran 8, but we did not change it back to the default of no color, so it had no way to put spaces. But now, do y'all guys see how that totally, we cleaned this code up once again. We're doing colors and print. So let's say we wanted to make this whole row right here. Let's make it red. So we're just going to put a 2. And let's run it. We just changed the color. It's all we changed. We're going to come down here. We're going to do 22. And now we have red all the way across. Look at that. Is that slick or is that slick? But, I said a but here. Here we go. We got a but. Let me see what time we are lapsing on the video here. Okay, we're 25 minutes, so we're doing good. All right, so now, oh man, look at this, look at this. Now, if I wanted to do 2 reds, if we look at our pattern, where's our pattern at? Let's go to our pattern. Oh, not that. If we go to our pattern, what if we wanted the middle, just that one to be the white and these 2 to be red? Well, how would we do that? So let's go back to our IntelliJ. And right now, we're setting 2 for the whole thing because of this logic up here. We're doing row 0, so we're working with our row 0. And then we're doing row 4. So we got 2 rows that we're doing the same thing on. And because they're going all the way across, we're not having any columns or checking anything like that. So we're going to have to break out this color right here. So what we want to do is we're going to erase this temporarily. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do some column checking. Because we already have rows. We know if we're in a row, we're going to be here. So let's do a column check. So we're going to say if column is equal to 0, and we can say or column is equal to 1, or column is equal to 3, or column is equal to 4, then what we want to do is we want to make color equal to 2. That's what we had a while ago. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do an else, because there's only one other condition left. So column 0, 1, there's no 2, then there's 3, 4. So let's see if this works. So let's put the color. We know white is 8, so let's put 8. Let's go run it and see what it looks like. And let's do our pattern 22. And there we go. See how simple that was? Now, I'm going to give you, I'm going to blow your mind. Are you ready to have your mind blown? Okay, let's get your mind blown. So, I want to go look at the grid. I want to look at the grid. If you look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 slots, 5 elements. So what if we were to take and to replace this, instead of comparing individual columns, what if we were to set this up as an array? So let's go look at array. How can we use this? How can we put this into an array and make this so that we could look at that? Well, let's go up here and under color, we're going to do, well, we need to make, since we're doing colors and stuff, so let's do this. So we're going to do integer array, and we're going to call this one row, call it row 1, and it is going to be equal to an array. And we're going to come over here and we're going to give it some values. Now, if we go back and look at our, where's our thing? In this particular row, all of them are going to be there. So we need to make sure that we have values for a color for there. So let's go back to our array. So what we're going to put in here is we're going to put 3, we're going to put 4, 2, 5, 8, and 0. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here and we're going to get rid of this if statement right here. We're going to get rid of this. And what we're going to do is all we're going to do is we're going to say color is equal to row, or row 1, and then we're going to put a bracket there, and we're going to put column in here. So we're going to set our color to 4, 2, and 0. So actually, okay, we don't want it 0 because we want a square there. So let's do 3. So let's run it. Oh, we're still running. I forgot to stop it a while ago. Naughty me. Let's run it. And let's look at it. So let's do 22. Oh my word, we got all these different colors in there. How cool is that? Look at that. So we got what looks like a yellow, a red, a blue, and then a white, what they're calling white, and then we got a green. And we got both rows are the same because we set it up. So we took out all that logic that we did, and we made this our logic. Well, let's go look at our pattern here. So the second row, we have 1 star here and 1 star here. So how would we do an array for that one? So let's go up here and let's look at doing another array, not a queue. Oh my word, my fingers. Oh, they don't want to work. So now we're going to do row 2. Actually, you know what? Let's change this to row 0. I should have done, let's do row 0 here. We're going to have to go down and correct that row 1 because we're really, look at our logic right here. We are really at row 0, not row 1. So because counters, everything always starts with a 0. So we're going to do row 1. All right. We're going to do new int, and again we're going to assign it variables. Now because there are 5 columns, we got to fill in something in every column. So I'm going to do, let's do a 7. We haven't done a 7 yet. And then we have 3 blanks. We have 3 places where there's none, so we're going to put 0. Oh, not O. We're going to put 0. Oh, me and my fingers here are not cooperating today. So we're going to put 3 zeros, and then we'll put another 7. Now we're going to go down here, and we have all this row and all this column malarkey going on here, and we're doing this for column 3, and then we have what columns we want to actually do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this. We don't need this inside here anymore, I don't think, because all we need to do is know the row, and then column is going to be row 1, and then we're going to give it the column. We're going to tell, because we've already made the decision, our color, and if there's a 0, no stars is going to go. Okay, do y'all guys see how we're doing this? So let's run this. I left it running again. So we'll tell it to restart. And look at that. So we got a kind of a bluish looking color, I guess it is. So look at that. So we colored those 2. Now, what if we wanted this color at the end to be different? What if we wanted it to be color red, which is 2? We could change that right there. And we can stop it first because I didn't stop it. Naughty me. Run it again. And now we come down here to 22. And we have 1 blue and 1 red. Now, if we wanted to have a different color for row 3, because see we're doing 1 and 3, we could make a separate variable up here and do that. So I'm looking at my code here. Well, we already proved we don't need this, so let's get rid of that. And we don't need this, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so you know this is awfully looking like something else we've already done. I know what we'll do. So we're gonna go up here and we'll leave this code in here just for a minute. But what if we did a switch? What if we did a switch on the rows? And so now that we do a switch on the rows, so we're gonna have case 0, which would be row 0. Well, what do we want to do here? Well, we're gonna do color equals, you know, I just thought of something. Yeah, we'll do color equals rows 0. Okay. And then we're going to do column. Okay. And then we're going to do a break. And now we're going to do column or 1. And then let's go ahead and we'll do. Now, our original code down here, we were doing row 0 and row 4. So let's go up here and add that case to here. So we're going to add 4. So that way both 0 and 4 will run this color block. Okay. Now 2, so let's get rid of this one. We've already covered that one now. So let's come down here in case 1. So we have a row for that one. So we can come down here and do color is equal to row 1. And then we can do column. Again, because we already have defined our pattern and the color in this array up here in these 2 rows. Now, we haven't made a third one yet, but we want to make sure we put a break. Okay, so case, am I typing case 2, which is actually the 3rd row, we don't have anything for it. Oh yeah, you know something I just noticed? Row 1 and row 3 are the same. So let's go up here and let's put in case 3. Okay. And so now we just have, so we have 0, 1, now we got 2, 3, and 4. So all we need to do is make one more array. And so we're going to just do an int array. We're going to call this one row 2. And we're going to equal that to a new int array. We're going to give it some values. Well, we know that this one is, so we'll do 8, 0, and then 8, 0, and then 8. Because we know that there are asterisks on the side, but none in there. So if we do that, and we come down here and we put in our color is equal to row 2 color or columns, then we could also get rid of this. So we can get rid of all this because we've already got all of them figured out now. And now we took all that if and all that stuff and we put it in this one little switch now. Let's run it. No, let's run it again. Well, I'm bad about that. All right, so 22. And our pattern worked. Everything worked. And look how we simplified our code once again. So now we have figured out another way to do our grid. So if we come down here to our grid, we did one row for this because this is the same as this one, so only needed to do one row. We did one row for this one because it's the same, and then this is third one is different. So we only had to do 3 arrays, and excuse me, because we have this like this now, we can come down to our code and we could change the pattern even. Let's say we wanted a dot right here or an asterisk right here. We could put an 8 right there. Okay. And let's go run it. Let's see what does it do. Now left the engine running again. Oh, don't hit that. Don't mess with that. Recycle the code. Restart the code here. Okay, so 22. So now look what we did. Now we've got all stars, but look, we got this center is white, and then we got colors all the way around. Now what if you wanted the same color? All right, well, let's go up here, and let's make all these 2s. So we'll just make them all 2s. So we come up here to our little array, and make them 2s. And make this a 2. And make this a 2. Oops, that's a 0, not a 2. And then we got this one here, 2. Okay. And then make these 2s. Make this one a 2. Oh, we make this one a 2 here also, I guess. Actually, let's put this one back to 0, so it's our original design. And make this one a 2. And then make this one a 2. And then let's run it. So if I did it right, we should have the same pattern. We're just going to have, it's going to be all red except for the blank spaces. Now, do you see how easy that was? Do you see how we progressed? How we took our idea of creating a pattern. We started off doing all this crazy if and then now we're down to just a couple of switch statements, and all of our logic is done in our array up here. Well, boys and girls, that's the challenge. So I'd like you to take and do each one of the patterns with colors, add them to your menu, and you can copy and paste once you write this out, or I'll leave this in here. I'll leave all this in here in this challenge too. You can copy and paste or whatever, and continue with what I've already started here. So you'll already have the patterns that I put in here, but put the ones that you did in here, and make up some colored patterns. Be sure to do a screenshot that's got your name and it's got your little artwork and all for the patterns. And I hope this was a fun way to learn. And like I said, we're just putting pieces together that we've already gone over, everything we've done. And again, there's other ways that we could do this. This is just something that I came up with when I was working on it yesterday. I was going, oh, wait a minute. Why don't we do it this way? We've already covered arrays. And look how the picture even looks. And if we wanted to break this out, in other words, if we wanted a separate row for number 1 and number 0 and 1, then we could come down there and actually do 3 and 4 and put different colors in there. And then here we just have to break out the 3 and the 4 into their own little groups here. So again, I hope y'all guys enjoy this challenge. Challenge 3 is coming up. I'm working on it. I'm going to push it all when I get challenge 3 done. So y'all guys have a great day. Happy coding.